Hi, how's everybody doing? This is Todd Smith with Equity Colorado, and these are quick tips, trends, and topics related to real estate. And of course, today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, coronavirus, specifically how coronavirus has affected the real estate market. Now, I just want to give everybody a heads up here that this is highly speculative, although it is based on a lot of experts out in the field and what their predictions are, graphs, charts, various articles, etc., etc., etc. Long story short, what I'm going to do here on this video is paint kind of the worst case scenario along with the best case scenario, and then you can determine where you land on this spectrum. So to begin with, I'd like to talk about just the fundamentals of real estate. So how is the real estate market affected? Well, it comes down to two things, and those two things are supply and demand. So this is economics 101. So supply means how many houses are out on the market right now, and how long are they available for. Demand is really exactly what it sounds like. How many buyers are out there and what's their confidence like? And so right now we've been riding a wave of unprecedented sellers market, which basically means that there's low inventory and high demand for that inventory. So no matter what theory you land on, it is obvious that both supply and demand are affected by these market factors. Anytime the market is affected, supply and demand are affected. Now, the best case scenario, which I'm going to discuss here, is that this is just a temporary glitch in the market, and it is real estate has been on a very strong foundation for a long time, and that it'll recover very quickly. So a lot of people have heard about this V-shaped recovery in real estate. And so what that means is that you've got a few months, maybe 3-6 months, of where you have this window of an opportunity of buying a home at a discounted price. Sellers have some uncertainty. They're willing to make some more concessions. They're not sure, where we're at. So it could be a great buyer's opportunity to come in the next 3 to 6 months, and then real estate prices are going to bump back up to where they're at or even above that mark. Now, why are experts predicting this? Well, experts are predicting this because right now there's way less people that are overextended in their mortgages than there was in 2008. Lenders had already tightened their belt and made it more challenging for people to get loans, and and there's also government programs in place to keep people in their mortgages during this time, deferments, etc., etc. Combine that with low inventory. Builders have been really cutting back over the last 10 years and have not overbuilt, and that means there's less inventory out there, and there's still high buyer's demand. There's also low interest rates right now, so if you're a qualified buyer, you're still excited about buying a house. So it could be a short-term opportunity. Worst case scenario is that we're at the precipice of a long-term housing market recession. And so the experts on that side are really saying, hey, even though there's government programs in place to keep people in their mortgages, even though there's low inventory, certain people are going to get hit really hard and have been hit really hard by the coronavirus and will still default on their mortgages. We're still going to have an influx of short sales and foreclosures and pre-foreclosures in combination with the boomer generation selling off single family homes or larger homes or second homes, vacation homes, kind of downsizing at this point. So they've been riding this wave of building a lot of equity, and at this point a lot of the boomer generation, either they're in retirement or partially retired or moving into retirement, and they want to downsize. They want to pump the brakes a little bit and say, okay, we had a good run, let's go ahead and sell off some assets. And so that's also going to affect inventory. So we're going to have higher inventory and lower buyer demand. And why are we going to have lower buyer demand? Because what's happening now is that banks were already pretty diligent and strict about who can get a loan. But as of now, at least Chase and Wells Fargo, they're kind of leading the front here of tightening the belt even more and making it even more challenging for buyers to get a loan. That's 20% down payment, 700 credit score, things like that is what's going to set the example for other lenders down the road for saying, hey, we only want highly qualified buyers at this point. And so that right there is going to cut out a huge amount of buyers in the market. So now you're going to have less buyers and more inventory. And so economics 101, what does that do? Well, that decreases home prices. So nobody is arguing the fact that home prices are going to be affected. It's just going to be a matter of how much and for how long. What is good is that this is a very great buyer's opportunity, either in this right now, in the next 3 to 6 months, or in the next 2 to 3 years. It really depends. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter where you land on the spectrum here. It's all about how it affects you directly and what type of buyer or seller you are and what stage in the process you are. So for example, if you're a buyer and you're buying your dream home and you've got a stable job, you weren't that affected by coronavirus. Everybody was affected, but you weren't as affected as other people. You still got good credit and you got some savings. This could be a great opportunity. Even if your home dips in price over the next 2 to 3 years, you're not going to sell it in the next 2 to 3 years. You're going to look at this as a long-term investment, which is what most home buyers do. Now, if you're flipping a house and you're putting a huge amount of cash up front, you have huge closing or holding costs, and you do all this renovation and you're expecting 6 months from now to sell it at a profit, well, I would be a little hesitant about that. I would not encourage you to do that. But if you're buying a rental property or an investment property, well, again, you might have some home value depreciation over either 6 months or a few years, but ultimately you're going to build that back up and you're still going to be able to collect rent. If you're selling, same thing. If you have to sell, well, you have to sell. You're going to sell at a discounted price, but guess what? You're going to also be able to buy a home at a discounted price. So it's all situational here, and really important to just kind of take into account all these different factors that are at play in the economy right now. So I hope you enjoyed my segment, and if you have any questions, this is what I love to do. I love to help people determine what's right for them at the right point and the right stage in their home buying or home selling process. Hope everybody's well, happy, healthy, and safe as they can be, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.